I just always feel like there is something you got. Probably it's your pretty. Heard that you're a student working weekends in the city. Trying to take you out, girl. Hope you're not too busy. There's nothing wrong.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So let's jump right into today's video. This video is sponsored by SUNBERHAIR. So let's get into this unboxing. They provided us with 2 melting bands, 2 mesh wig caps, a really nice pair of lashes, and also a travel size makeup brush. Today's wig is going to be a Kinky straight 13 by 4 16-inch wig. So let's go ahead and jump into this video. So the first order of business is these knots. As you can tell, these knots are noticeable, but luckily for us, they are small and the lace is very thin. So that makes it super duper easy when we are going to bleach our knots, and it just saves us the trouble. So the first thing I like to do when I'm about to bleach my knots is turn my wig inside out. Reason being is because I feel like I can see everything. It's way easier for me to bleach, and it helps to prevent over bleaching and things like that. So I'm just turning it inside out, also trying to make sure that all of the hairs are laying flat. We don't want any extra strands. So I'm going to be using my 40 volume developer and my BW2 bleach powder, and I always just use 1 scoop of this for frontals and probably like half a scoop if you're using a closure. And I try to eyeball my developer. I use little by little because I don't want to use too much. So here I'm just starting off using a full cap of the 40 volume developer, and I'm just going to go ahead and mix it up. And as you guys will be able to see when I'm mixing it, it still was a little bit too powdery, so I did go back in and I used about a half of the cap and just poured that back into the bleach mixture. And you'll see that it turned out perfect. You want your consistency to be very thick, almost like toothpaste. You don't want it to be too runny because that's the quickest way to over bleach your knots, and we want to stay away from that. So as you guys can see, I'm just mixing it up. Be patient with it because that 40 volume developer will mix. It just takes a little bit of time, but you want to just keep mixing until you're at the perfect consistency. It's kind of, trial and error. You may pour some bleach and pour some 40 volume developer and find that you need more bleach, or find that you need 40 volume developer. Just be patient. It takes a lot of time. But as you guys can see, I'm really yanking and shaking my brush and nothing is falling off. So that lets me know my consistency is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the knots of the wig. I'm being very light-handed. It does look like I'm being kind of heavy-handed, but I promise y'all I'm being very light-handed. But I am applying just a little bit of pressure because I do want to make sure that that bleach is really kind of pressed into the knots. So I'm being light-handed, but I am also applying just a little bit of pressure, like I said, because we really want to make sure that bleach is in there and hitting those knots and not just sitting on top of our wig, because that's a complete waste. So once you have completely covered your lace with bleach, you want to let it sit. I prefer to let it sit in 30-minute increments. That is just what works for me. If you choose to let it sit for shorter times or less, then that's completely up to you. But I feel like working in 30-minute increments works for me because I can come, check the wig out, see what's going on with it. If I need to add more time, I will, and so on and so forth. So just gonna set our timer and we're gonna wait our 30 minutes, and you'll see after 30 minutes is up, I'm coming to check on the wig, and as you guys can see, the knots are bleached. You can kind of see a little bit of orange kind of peeking through there, But yeah, that just kind of indicates that our wig is bleached. So we're going to go ahead and rinse it out. Now, when you're rinsing out your bleached knots, it is very, very important to make sure that you have not only purple shampoo, but you want to make sure that you have neutralizing shampoo as well. That purple shampoo is just going to get away that brassiness, and the neutralizing shampoo is going to get away any extra chemicals that are left behind. So this is the wig when I rinsed out everything, and got it looking good. So we're gonna slap this wig onto our dome head. As you guys can see, my dome head is already like an off-white cream color, but I have that paper towel on top just because I feel like it's so much easier for me to see with that paper towel. And if you guys have a dome head that's a different color, use a towel or a paper towel like I'm doing, and it just helps to see the knots a little bit more clear and to know what you're plucking. So here I am just kind of pulling off some stray hairs that I know are not going to fit on my tiny head. That way we can jump right into this plucking process. Okay, y'all, so let's get into this plucking tutorial. So as you guys can tell, this wig is actually a pre-plucked unit, but we're going to go in and give it a little bit more oomph. So here I'm just parting off probably about a half inch to a full inch that was already plucked when the wig came. Now, it is very important when you are plucking to make sure that you are plucking behind the hairline. You don't want to be plucking right at the forefront. You want to give yourself about a half an inch and then start plucking. Reason being is because we really want to prevent any bald spots when plucking, and we also want to prevent poking holes into our lace. So as you guys can see, I'm showing you where the front of the hairline is, and I'm going to go back about a half an inch and just pluck. Now, for me, there's no specific rhyme or reason when I'm plucking. I just like to move all over the specific area that I am plucking. And some people do it quickly, some people do it slowly. It's completely up to you, whatever works for you. But as you guys can see, I'm just going through and just plucking those hairs wherever I see there is way too many strands. Another good tip is you want to make sure you are combing the hair through as you are plucking. Reason being, if we are plucking hairs and they're staying right where they were when it was pulled out, sometimes you can't see what's really going on the hairline. So you want to make sure you're combing out those hairs that you've already plucked so that you can get a clear indication of what's going on. So as you guys can see, there's a difference between the side that I plucked and the side that I didn't. And here is the final between the two. So normally I kind of will pluck like 2 to 3 sections just depending on how thick the hairline is. So I'm just parting out another section just like we did before, and I'm going to repeat that same exact process, making sure to pluck behind the hairline and combing out those stray hairs every couple of plucks. Okay, so I'm just showing you guys how much hair was plucked from just this small section. You'll notice when you're plucking, you'll probably feel like you've overplucked because you have so much hair, but no, a lot of hair sometimes is a good thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull all of that hair back from that section that I was just working on, just so I can see what it's looking like, get an idea of if I need to pluck more, if I need to stop. So as you guys can see, there are a couple of spots where I felt I could do a little bit more plucking. So I'm just going in and just giving it some special loving. And yeah, sometimes I go into the front of the hairline and get rid of that kind of like distinct line that comes on wigs. But I think this wig was okay. It didn't have like too much of a line in the front. I feel like it just looks like a hairline, so I'll be having to get rid of it. Alright y'all, so I'm going to give you guys a quick tip. if you are wearing a wig and you know that you're going to do baby hair, I like to kind of sculpt out where I think my baby hairs will be so I can kind of get an idea of what the hairline will really look like. If you're going to be pulling out baby hairs and cutting them short, they don't honestly fit into the hairline anymore. So as you guys can see, I just kind of carved out where I think my baby hairs were going to be. And then I'm just going to go back in and pluck just a little bit more. I want everything to look like scalp. And when your hairline is plucked, it honestly just adds to it and it gives it that more realistic scalp looking feel. So when I'm plucking my middle part, I like to make sure I'm not plucking super duper close to where the middle part actually would be. So I kind of will pluck next to it, you know, and around it, because if I am going to do a middle part, I don't want my part to be spotty and not be even. So I always just kind of leave the middle part alone. But I will go around the middle part next to it, like I said, just to make sure everything else is good. But y'all want to make sure you're leaving enough hair in the middle, because that's a quick way for balding to start and all that good stuff. So just a little pointer. Hey y'all, so I have successfully plucked one side of the wig. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a before and after. So after you finish plucking, your wig should be giving more of a gradient effect, as opposed to the side that is not plucked. It's a lot more bulkier and more strands of hair. So I hope this helped, and let's go ahead and jump into the styling portion of this video. Hey guys, welcome to this portion of the video. So let's just jump straight into this video. Honestly, you guys, I really wanted to do a very in-depth tutorial, start to finish, of what I do when it comes to installing my wigs. I have not really come on the camera and given you guys, you know, a detailed tutorial on what it is that I do to achieve the looks. So hopefully the plucking and the bleaching tutorial was helpful for you guys. Let me know down below if it was helpful or if y'all want more in detail for both. But yeah, I personally never do braids when I'm installing my wigs. I always just slick my hair down into a low bun. Reason being because I really don't wear my wigs for longer than like a couple hours. I don't like to sleep in my wigs. So as long as your foundation is flat, you'll be fine. So yeah, put my hair into a bun in the back. And now I'm just going to take an edge brush and slick my edges back. So to get my edges back and out of the way, I'm going to use a little bit of the Got To Be Glued spiking glue. Normally I like to use the one in the black container, but I left it downstairs and I'm a little lazy. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this to help push those fine baby hairs, or just to help push those fine hairs or tiny hairs or whatever out of the way. Okay, so now that I have everything pushed back, I'm gonna go ahead and use a wig cap to kind of lay everything down. If you guys are going to be using the wig cap method, I do recommend using like a pair of stockings or getting yourself a sheer wig cap. These wig caps came in the box that your wig comes in. So yeah, they do provide you a set of wig caps in the box with your hair, and these are the perfect ones. Honestly, I feel like these are so thin and they melt into your skin really well. I use these on my clients every time. So I'm just gonna stretch this out and put it on my head. Yeah, so I'm just gonna pull it back so that all of my little hairs are secure. So after I get my wig cap on, I'm gonna go in with some rubbing alcohol and just clean up the perimeter of my hairline, because any oil or product residue that is left on your hairline or your skin will cause the glue to not stick. So we just want to make sure that we have a really clean base and that our glue will stick, and that also helps it to last longer. This is the unit that we're going to be working with today. So this is a Kinky straight unit. And yeah, this is what it looks like after I plucked and everything. Honestly, this was a very easy wig to pluck. So I definitely would recommend this for someone who is a beginner looking to get into frontals, because this one was honestly really, really easy. I'm going to go ahead and blow dry. I'm gonna blow dry the inside of the cap because it is still damp from when I washed it earlier, and then I'll be ready to come back and start installing. We have the wig on, and the first thing you want to do when you put your wig on is kind of size it to your head. So if you like it looser or more snug, you can adjust the straps in the back. And then you also want to go ahead and cut out your ear tabs. What ear tabs are is basically just making sure that the wig, like, you know, you could put your hair behind your ear if you needed to. Like, you don't want to be wearing a wig and you got lace covering your ear, you know? Like, that's the easiest way for somebody to detect you have a wig on. So on this side, as you can tell, everything is perfect. I don't need to cut off any hair or part any hair. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that excess lace off. But on this side, so this is perfect. But on this side, you can tell that the lace is way too long, I guess, on this side, and there's also some hair that's covering my ear. So what I like to do to make sure that I'm cutting my ear tabs the proper way and that I'm not cutting off too much or leaving too much behind, I will basically just pretend as if I'm putting my hair behind my ear like this. So this is where I will go if I'm putting my hair behind my ear, which means all of this hair down here needs to be cut off. Just pretend as if you're putting hair behind your ear. As y'all can see, this is, well, you guys probably can't even tell, but this is where my ear is right here, and this is where I will go to put my hair behind my ear. So I'm just gonna break off that section where there's lace and clip the rest of it back. Okay. So yeah, as you guys can tell, this is where the tracks are, and then this is the lace that's covering my ear. So I'm just gonna go ahead and snip that off. Boom. So this is what got cut off, and then as you can see, it's perfect. So if I was to be, you know, trying to put some hair behind my ear, this is the perfect space to cut off. So now that I have the wig perfectly sized to my head, just trying to make sure everything is even, I can go ahead and start gluing my wig. Now, I personally do not use like Ghost Bond or anything. Like I said, I normally keep my wig on for like a couple of hours. I don't like to sleep in my wigs, so I normally will just use some spray. But what I'm gonna do to make it easier, since this is a frontal, I'm gonna split the lace down the middle. That way I have two sections to work with. So I've got this side and then I've got this side, and it just, in my opinion, if you're a beginner or you're still learning, it just makes it a lot easier to lay your lace down when you're doing it in sections. It's almost like laying two closures down as opposed to trying to lay all the lace down at one time. It can be a bit intimidating, I know. So like I said, I like to use a spray. In Wonder Lace adhesive spray, I use the red one. I think I've really only used the red one. I think I've used the yellow one, but the red one so far is my favorite. So what I'm gonna do is, I normally do about 2 to 3 layers, just depending on how long I'm going to be wearing the wig. Make sure you are blow drying the glue on cool. Okay guys, so a really good tip or pointer when you're trying to melt your lace into the glue, use a fine tooth or a rat tooth comb, whatever you've got, and just press that lace into the glue. So I'm just going through with the teeth of the comb and kind of gliding my way through, and then using this kind of, you know, I don't even know what to call this, like the bridge of the comb, I don't know. And I'm using that to push it in. So using the teeth of the comb to glide my way through the hair, and using this back part to push it down. Like that. So as you can tell, everything is pretty much pushed in. So what I'm gonna do is clip this hair up. So let's talk really quick about elastic bands and what is helpful and what is not. So there are 2 different types of elastic bands, at least from what I've seen. So these are typically the elastic bands that you're gonna get in your package that comes with your wig. And these are elastic bands that are used in sewing. You can get these, honestly, like a roll of these from like Joann's, Michael's, any craft store. You can also get these on Amazon for very cheap and inexpensive. When I first started doing wigs, I would use these, and these are cool if you don't have anything else. They will layer lace, but I just feel like using these are, you can get them even thinner than the one that I have. It is a little dirty because I be using it, but you can even get them thinner than the one that I have. And I prefer to use these because I feel like I can really pull it and get it tight on my head and tight in the back, as opposed to these. Like you can do the same thing, but I just have found I've had better results when I use this on the lace so that everything can dry and melt. And while that is drying and melting, I go in and blow dry the rest of this hair because it's still damp from earlier. Go ahead and take off this band and get to cutting our lace off. It is also easier to cut your lace off beforehand. It's completely up to you. You can do it beforehand. If you're a beginner, I recommend cutting your lace off beforehand. It just makes it so much easier. I don't always do it. Sometimes I just be slapping the wig on and going. But yeah, if you, like I said, if you're a beginner and you're not the best with cutting your lace off, it's always easier to just cut your lace off beforehand. Okay, so basically what we're gonna do is cut off our lace. And my theory is, if there's a piece of lace that has no hair connected to it, cut it off. And basically what you're gonna do is take your scissors or your razor and just snip. So you just want to make sure that you are cutting your lace in a very jagged motion. You don't want a straight line because that also makes it harder to melt your lace. And it's a clear indication that you have on a wig. So cut it as close to the hairline as you can, but try and avoid cutting in a straight line. It does happen. Like right here is kind of in a straight line. So it does happen. I'm not perfect with cutting my lace, and I've been doing this for a long time, so don't be so hard on yourself if you're not, you know, 100% confident in cutting your lace. But yeah, we just want to cut in a jagged motion. Okay, so this is what we are looking like now. I do have a couple of spots that have lifted or just didn't get melted all the way, which can also happen. So no biggie. All you're gonna do is go back in and just grab some glue and lay it down. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this like white cast that we have around our lace. And also we're gonna get rid of some of that extra glue that's there as well. And what you're gonna do is just take, again, some alcohol, cotton swab, cotton round, Q-tip. I prefer to use a Q-tip because I feel like it doesn't leave any fuzzies behind. So just going through. I'm trying not to get too much of the alcohol on the actual lace itself because that will trigger it to start to, like, you know, pull off of our heads, and it'll just revert all of that hard work we just did to get it laid down. So just focusing this on my skin, getting all of that extra off of my skin. And then what I'm gonna do is take some powder and we're going to put that along the hairline to match our skin tone. So this is a palette that I actually recently got from Burlington, I think. Yeah, I think it was Burlington. It was only $3.99. It's by Profusion. It's contour. And this is what it looks like. It has different shades. I actually use this on my clients as well. I got this because it has different shades, different ranges, and I can mix if I need to. But this is probably, I'm trying to just match my skin tone. This middle one is probably what I'm gonna use since I am still a little tan from the summer. Well, I'm just gonna take a little bit. You wanna be very light-handed with this. You wanna be very stingy with the powder. And you're just gonna barely touch it to the perimeter of the lace. Does this match, or do I want to use a darker tone? Let's see, I think I'm gonna mix those two colors. But yeah, so you want to be very light-handed when you are, yeah, I think that's better. You want to be very light-handed when touching the lace because you don't want a lot of powder buildup and all of that stuff. It's really, you know, it's not cute. We don't want a whole lot of buildup. So want to be light-handed when you're using this, especially if you're going to be using something that's liquid. Because, yeah, the foundation or whatever it is that you're using to match your skin tone with the lace. Now we're going to get, like I said, rid of that white cast that we have. And we're also going to melt some of these edges that may be sticking up. Like, we just want to go ahead and make sure everything is laid nicely. So you can use whatever you have. You can use some spritz. I know a lot of people use spritz. I do go back and forth between spritz and the even spray. I know they have like one that's like in a spray bottle, like an actual spray bottle like this, but I haven't gotten my hands on it. So I go back and forth between these two products to melt my lace, but a lot of people don't have spritz, so I'm going to show you how you can do it with this product, or if you have got to be glued or whatever you're using. So you're going to take just a little bit and put it on your finger, and I go right up on that lace, not too much because we don't want it to be, you know, cakey and sticky. So I'm just gonna go and add just a little bit. Okay, cool. So now that we have that product on there, you can see it's already starting to look 10 times better. I'm going to take my blow dryer and the end of my rat tail comb, and I'm just going to go in and kind of melt the edges where it's kind of sticking up. I don't know if you guys can tell, but like right here and like over here. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of that. Done that step, what we're gonna do is put our melting band back on, just so we can make sure, y'all, everything is melted. Cool. Not quite sure what hairstyle I want to do. I really don't know. I was thinking that I wanted to just leave it straight, like straighten it out and kind of have it look like a silk press, but I don't know if I'm really feeling that because of the length of the hair. I'm kind of feeling like, I really don't know, y'all, what I want to do. Hot comb this perimeter so I can kind of see where I'm at after I hot comb it, because I have absolutely no idea what I want to do. This wax stick, it is by Care, and this wax stick is really good. A little bit goes a long way, which is always super important when using any type of product. Let me move y'all over. So I just apply this again very light-handed to the perimeter of my hair so we can go ahead and get those flyaways back. I don't think I'm gonna do baby hairs. It just depends on what style I'm doing. But I'm using my hot comb and going in. I just love kinky hair. More importantly, kinky, well, I can't say more importantly, but I just love the texture of kinky straight hair. It just gives silk press, and I just love that. It's so silky. I feel like you can achieve some really cute hairstyles on any kinky texture wig. Okay, so I figured out a hairstyle that I want to do. So let's take this I don't know what I just said. Let's take this wig band off. This is what it's giving scalp. It is definitely giving scalp. Y'all, please ignore my circulation that was cut off. I'm not even gonna talk about that. I be having the wig band on so tight because I need to make sure that it lays. But it's definitely giving scalp. Give y'all a close-up of it. And we're gonna go in one more time with some alcohol and clean our lace, or not clean our lace, I apologize, but just get that excess alcohol off of my skin. I mean, oh my god, obviously you cannot talk. Get the excess product off of my skin. My lord. I want to do baby hair. I want this to be a baby hair free type of look. So I really love how this hairline looks. But what I'm doing, I'm just going back in, combing out the front, because a lot of times it gets pressed down when you put on like your band or whatever. So I'm just uncrunching it, you know. Okay.
This one's for you. Baby, you my everything. You all I ever wanted. We could do it real big. Bigger than you ever done it. You be up on everything. Other hoes ain't never on it. I want this forever. I swear I could spend whatever on it. But she hold me down every time I hit her up. When I get right, I promise that we gon' live it up. She made me beg for it till she gave it up. And I say the same thing every single time. I said you the best. You the best. Best I ever had. Best I ever had. Best I ever had. Best I ever had. I said you the. Know you got a roommate. Call me when there's no one there. Put the key under the mat and you know I be over there. I be over there. Shout it, I be over there. I be hitting all the spots that you ain't even know it's there. And you don't even have to ask twice. You can have my heart or we can share it like the last slice. Always felt like you were so accustomed to the fast life. Have a nigga thinking that he met you in a past life. Sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on. That's when you're the prettiest. I hope that you don't take it wrong. You don't even trip when friends say you ain't bringing Drake along. You know that I'm working, I'll be there soon as I make it home. And she a patient in my waiting room. Never pay attention to the rumors and what they assume. And until them girls prove it, I'm the one that never get confused with. Cause baby, you my everything. You all I ever wanted. We could do it real big. Bigger than you ever done it. You be up on everything. Other hoes ain't never on it. I want this forever. I swear I could spend whatever on it. But she hold me down every time I hit her up. When I get right, I promise that we gon' live it up. She made me beg for it till she gave it up. And I say the same thing every single time. I said you the best. You the best. Best I ever had. Best I ever had. Best I ever had. Best I ever had. I said you the sex, love, pain, baby. I be on that tank. Buzz so big, I could probably sell a blank this. Quit my album drop. To buy for the picture and niggas to buy too and claim they got it for they sister. Magazine, paper, girl, but money ain't the issue. They bring dinner to my room and ask me to initial. She call me the referee cause I be so official. My shirt ain't got no stripes but I can make a whistle. Like the Andy Griffith theme song. And who told you to put them jeans on? Double cup love, you the one I lean on. Feeling for a fix, then you should really get your fiend on. Yeah, just know my condo is the crack spot. Every single show she out there repping like a mascot. Get it from the back and make your raw strap pop. All up in your slot till a nigga hit the jackpot. You all I ever wanted. We could do it real big. Bigger than you ever done it. You be up on everything. Other hoes ain't never on it. I want this forever. I swear I could spend whatever on it. But she hold me down every time I hit her up. When I get right, I promise that we gon' live it up. She made me beg for it till she gave it up. And I say the same thing every single time. I said you the best. You the best. Best I ever had. Best I ever had. Best I ever had. Best I ever had. I said you the.
All right, y'all, so that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this super detailed video on how I get my installs to be perfect and seamless. And yeah, I don't always bleach my wigs every single time I put one on, but when I do, it just you know, chef's kiss. So yeah, like I said, I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I really hope that this video was helpful. If you guys want me to do specific things in depth, like focusing mainly on one thing, let me know, and I will do an entirely separate video on just one specific thing. But yeah, this hair, y'all, is super cute. I feel like this length is a little awkward. For my liking, I would prefer it to have either been a bob or for it to have been longer, but no big deal. But yeah, so this is what the hair is looking like. This is the finished product. I had like a few styles in mind. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do on this hair, but after doing a million and one different hairstyles, I ended up choosing this one, and I think it came out really, really good. I'm very proud of it. And yeah, so if you guys are interested in this wig and you want to purchase it, make sure you check out the information in the description box below. A huge thank you to SUNBERHAIR for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to your girl's channel, and make sure you hit that post notification button so you're notified every time your girl uploads a new video. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you stay tuned. But yeah, I'm done rambling. I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it to this point, and I'll see you guys in my next upload. Peace.